And we are back.
Welcome back, my man.
Welcome back, man. The long awaited return of Somebody Said Knowles is here. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the one and only Unc Bayless. My man to my left on the screen with the Florida State jersey, basketball jersey on, is Pumpy Johnson, an alumni himself.
What's going on, man?
How you feeling, man? How you feeling?
I feel good, man. Legit, I've actually had this jersey. You can probably tell since 8th grade, actually 7th grade. This is an old Charlie Ward FSU basketball jersey, man. This is classic throwback.
Nah, you can't let the Charlie Ward go. You gotta
Oh,
you
never.
gotta eventually frame that and put that in the man cave.
100%. 100%. Everything's good, man. I'm it's tough, man. It's a drought right now.
I know your status says positive pump. Are we getting positive pump throughout the whole show, or it depends on how I nudge you? Pause.
Pause, which is crazy. Listen, man, we'll no promises. We'll just see where the road takes us. We got to be realistic. We got to be honest with the people. We got to be honest with ourselves, right? That's the beauty of what we're doing. Like I said this morning on the group chat, my biggest fear is us becoming Cowboy fans. I don't want to be delusional, man.
So I don't think. Also, I'm with y'all on not being delusional, but in trying not to be delusional, I don't want to lose optimism because, like and we don't have to go down this road, but we had a, a spirited debate in the group chat early today where we were talking about the pendulum swinging depending on what this season looks like, and I don't want me to not have optimism. I think every year, as a fan, you got to have some optimism going into the season, especially in this climate. And there's my kid in the back, but don't
Oh
worry
man,
about that.
the
Um,
niece or the nephew.
Shout out to SJ. He's no longer the FSU savior, but he's still rocking with us. But yeah, I don't want to never go into a season without optimism. How do you feel about just the fan base as a whole? It seems like there's a lack of optimism and more so uh just a beat up uh down Florida State fan base. I've never seen the fan base this down before and this disinterested in what's going on in FSU football.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I think as I'll be honest, we're one of the most spoiled fan bases there probably is. Like we can be all the way 100 about that. But we've earned that. Like Florida State has earned that over years. Um, I think what we're seeing right now is and actually I've always said like whatever Alabama thinks that they are, or Alabama fans think that they are, is actually what Florida State was from the late 80s all the way to the early 2000s. Like that stretch of that run of Bobby Bowden is something that you'll never see again in college football ever. Right? That was an amazing run to finish what top 5 how many years in a row? 15 years in a row,
Yeah.
right? How many 30 something straight bowl games? Like that's you're never going to get that again. So, we have a right to feel like, okay, yes, this is Florida State University. We are supposed to be competitive year in and year out. We're supposed to get really good to great to legendary athletes every single year because when haven't we? Right? You can pick any year between 87 and 2013. There's Heisman Trophy winners, there's All Americans, there's first round draft picks. It's all there for you. So I think this is the first time, since the early, pre Bowden era, where Florida State fans look around and say, "This don't look good, man. Like we're getting lapped by people. We're getting lapped by people in our own conference." So when you don't see any change, and again, right now it's from not just what you see on the field and from Mike Norvell, you're starting to feel that from the people who handpick Mike Norvell and handpick everybody else that goes there, the administration themselves. They're telling you, yeah, we're going to evaluate, and then they don't make any changes. So, it's a weird place to be because you don't see any kind of light at the end of the tunnel at this point. And even
No,
though we have people who want to fire Mike, what are you replacing him with is always the question, because that's not a guarantee either. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
a weird place to be.
nothing's a guarantee in today's college football. And you can see my status. It says hope dealer, and I think just the climate itself, the way it is, where you could see a team like a Texas Tech make a big jump into a playoff team. Any team has an opportunity, and you would like to think that with the resources that Florida State has, being in the state of Florida, which is a hotbed for recruiting, it's just a matter of hiring the right people. You don't even have to. We talk about it all the time. It's the freaking ACC, Mike. Uh, Exclude Miami and Clemson, you should be able to beat the rest of these guys in the conference. So you don't really have to have the quote unquote legendary players of the past. Put together a very solid team, get you a good quarterback, and have a competent staff, and you should be able to win games. So I know this season is going to be big, in whether Florida State is the bottom of the barrel again or takes the upswing and start being what we used to be. And
Yeah.
we're here to deal some hope. We got positive pump in the house. I'm gonna try my best to aid us through this off season where it's just not a lot of excitement. And I guess we got to kind of kick it off with starting with the man that's running the show, Mike Norvell. He's gonna be calling plays this year. We've seen him call plays in the past. The best Mike Norvell offense wasn't even ran by him. It was by Kenny Dillingham. And then that prior year, we saw him in that 13-0 season where that offense didn't look that great, but it did enough to win games. And then you follow that up with a 2-win season when you were at the helm. So I guess what do you think this offense looks like under Mike Norvell?
That's tough, man. You made a good point. Looking back at the 2022 season, Mike Norvell, that's when, Jordan Travis, we were still coming in the off seasons wondering if, Jordan Travis could get the intermediate pass throws. Can he be that kind of quarterback, right? We knew he could throw it deep. That one's going to be there for him always. But, we always questioned Jordan's arm. You had Trey Benson in there. We didn't know what Johnny Wilson was. So he's working with guys. Pokey Wilson was the most consistent thing we had on offense. So to your point, he didn't have any stars. He didn't have any divas on that team, right? So he was able to maybe get the most out of what that team was. And we were very, very surprised by what we got in that team. And what we in that season 9-3, I believe. We had that little stretch where we lost some really close games too, right? That Clemson game was close. I think NC State was close.
Wake Forest.
Yeah, so you saw the creativity that I think helped get Mike Norvell this job at Florida State. You saw that in that 2022 season. So if he's able to capture that again, the only problem with that is we know how much talent was on that team, right? Like you just had to figure out how to get it all out of Jordan Travis. We saw the talent the first time Jordan Travis touched the ball. I think he scored a touchdown. I think that was still the Willie era, right? Like he went in there and you're like, wait a minute, why is this guy on the bench? Get him in the game. Wait, what are we doing? So I can't say that we've seen anything like that at quarterback the last 3 years. And I don't think, Daniels is anywhere close to 2022 Jordan Travis. I don't personally believe that. So, the creativity might be there, but you still have to have the talent to get that done. And they did have the talent that year. So,
I'm glad you mentioned Jordan Travis, and we're going to get into the depth chart because Ashton Daniels, I'm going to call him great value Jordan Travis until I see what he could actually do for us. But we did see, if you watch film on Ashton Daniels, you'll see some spark. You'll see him run for over 100 yards against Alabama. So there's something there, and it's similar to Jordan Travis where we didn't know exactly what he could do. I remember the fan base used to say he couldn't throw the deep ball. That was a big thing centered around Jordan Travis not being able to push the ball down the field. And then when he got the opportunity in Mike Norvell's offense, he was pushing the ball down the field to guys like Pokey Wilson and Johnny Pokey Wilson and Johnny Wilson. So I'll hold off on judging whether or not Ashton Daniels could what he could do. But as far as Mike's offense, I like the fact that you mentioned the creativity because that's one thing you're going to see is a lot of creativity to a fault sometimes because when you're on the goal line, get I don't need the running back handling the ball. Just hand
Right.
it to him. Don't pitch it. I think the NC State game, a slot fade to Michael Pittman when you got a 6'6" guy on the outside. There was sometimes Mike gets into that mode where he overthinks the easy situation. So I think you're going to get the scripted drive, the first touchdown. He's one of the best to script opening drive,
Mhm.
and then things kind of get sporadic, and sometimes it's because he's overthinking things. You'll see a lot of screens, running back screens, tight ends that get more involved, but it's just the overthinking of certain situations that Mike has to get out of. Um, for me personally, and this might be a hot take, I think we will see a very consistent offense. I'm not going to say better than last year, but I think last year's offense wasn't consistent. There was the big plays came, and then there was lulls where nothing happened. I think you'll see a lot more consistency in Mike's offense. If he could just stay away from overthinking situations where you're throwing jump balls to a 5'8" receiver and running the wildcat when you don't need to, I think you could see a lot of good things from this offense.
Okay. I mean, listen, I don't have much. I don't want to turn into negative pump now, but again, I've seen Mike's offense be more creative. I mean, there was a time 2022, just like our run game was pretty much just all misdirection, right? It was all counter, like counter right, counter left. You know what we're gonna do. Somehow it worked, right?
Trey's going to hit one.
Trey's gonna hit one. So again, I think that we have there's always talent. There's some level of talent at Florida State. Can Mike get the best out of this talent? He still seems like the guy. If I have to find any praise for Mike Norvell, he still seems like a guy that can motivate the players that actually truly do believe in what he's preaching and what they're practicing out there. Again, we don't get to see practice. So, all we have is just lip service now until we actually get to, see it. But, we've heard Mike motivate guys, and I think that it sounds good until it starts to, the message starts to get stale. I think that he needs to find maybe a new direction or another way to motivate some of these guys, especially when adversity hits, and it's gonna hit this season. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't know when it is, but if he can get past those bumps better than he has the last couple years, then we'll see where Mike goes because we all know he's dead man walking right now.
All right. Well, as the tagline say, let's try to stay positive.
Positive.
So let's jump into the depth chart, and we're going to try to give a positive spin if we can, because I know the narrative is we didn't get better this offseason. So let's run through position group by position group, and we'll either say it's an upgrade. If we want to expand, we'll expand, downgrade, or neutral.
Okay.
Let's start out with the most important position this year, and that's at quarterback. You got Ashton Daniels, who's the presumable number one guy. Like you and 12 always say, if Mike brings a guy in, that's the guy. So we all assume he's going to be the one taking the first snap to begin the season. And you got a very talented backup in Kevin Sperry going into his true sophomore season. Um, there's talent there. A lot of the fan base want him to get the chance to prove himself. What do you think about that room compared to last year? Are we going upgrade or downgrade?
Um, at quarterback, I think that we broke even. Honestly, I think we broke even at quarterback. The for everything Tommy lacked as a passer when he was healthy, he made up as strictly a playmaker. Right? There's several games that we saw, especially early, especially in that Bama game, where Tommy can make plays with his legs, and it opened up so much. Right? We were hoping that they were just gonna run the dog shit out of Tommy all season, and hopefully he stays healthy. And again, he's not a big dude, right? Which was always the give or take with Tommy. If you're gonna run him, be careful because one good hit, and unfortunately last year wasn't even a big hit that took him out. It was a freak, roll up on his leg kind of incident. With Ashton Daniels, he's a big boy, man. And I think that what it shows, like his size on the back of his trading card is what he actually is, right?
Yeah,
He's what 6'2, 220, 230, 230, something like that. Like
yeah.
he's a big boy. If you watch his highlight film, you see guys bounce off of him, right? You see SEC guys bouncing off of him. Again, what you also see is inaccuracy at the passing game, which if they're going to run him and utilize his legs, I think that's a give and take, right? Because if you can get that run game going the way they were trying to get it with Tommy, in the games that we won or the games that we were close in, Tommy was running the ball and he wasn't passing a whole lot, right? If Tommy had to throw the ball 25 times, we always said that we're probably going to lose. And I feel like that formula is going to be the same with Ashton Daniels. If he's a intricate part, a big part of that run game, and he can get the ball down the field to Deuce, get it to Mekhi Danzy for home run balls here and there, cool. But if you keep him somewhere within that 15 to 20 passes a game, and he actually has 8 to 10 designed runs just for him, I think that's a winning formula. So break even at quarterback with him. I don't think that he's an upgrade or a downgrade from where we were last year.
So initially, I said it's a break even. But the more I think about it, I'm leaning towards an upgrade. I have to still see it, but if you think about last year's quarterback play, a lot of the across the middle of the field was limited because of Tommy's size. I think they tried to do it early on, and Tommy threw 2 picks on the slants, and then they kind of bailed on it. So I think with Ashton Daniels just being able to see over the line and potentially making a better throws over the middle of the field, I think that kind of gives them the nudge over Tommy because they're technically similar players. Tommy may have been a little bit more dynamic, but Ashton, he's not slow. He's shifty, and the big concern on him is the turnovers, which a lot of it came from his stint at Stanford. But that travels with you. Your turnovers is who you are until
Yeah.
you prove otherwise. So I'm not leaning towards this year's group that much, but I think just the size alone will allow us to call throws across the field because there was how many throws do you remember going to Deuce? You got a big 6'6" guy and you're not throwing slants to him. Like where else do you see that? So I think just
Yeah.
that alone adds a little bit more dynamic with the
Yeah.
size. Not
And
much.
I'm honestly I'm hoping and it may not really matter because you're playing for 2027 as well. But if Mike feels that he's going to be here, I hope he doesn't care, right? Just play who you play. I really do hope that Kevin Sperry gets some kind of run, right? You have to see what you have in Kevin
Or
Sperry.
or just at least a realistic shot at the job. Not
Oh, oh,
the
no, no,
whole
oh,
media
no, no.
train.
I'm not talking about that. He's not. Ashton
It's
Daniels
just a
is a
wrap.
starting quarterback.
Alright.
Right? But you have to get him in some real game time experience because I think the kid with Kevin Sperry, I think that you have what you want at quarterback for Mike Norvell offense. Some version of Jordan Travis where you can throw the ball and your legs are a weapon. That's the perfect quarterback for a Mike Norvell offense. We've seen Kevin Sperry throw the ball, we've seen him run, right? So it feels like he can do both. He just needs to play. But of
Yeah.
course, he can't play this year because Mike is coaching for his job. So
Yeah.
it's like he's not going to be the starter. But like going back to what we were saying at the beginning of the show, this is his 5th year. I believe that he is who he is, right? 2022 Jordan Travis, we still got 2 more years of that guy. You know what I mean? So this is what we got. This is what we got for Ashton Daniels. So
Alright.
hopefully
We'll
he stays healthy and we get something out of him.
All right, let's keep this hope train moving. Let's go to the running back room, who is one of my favorite rooms on the team as a whole. You went and got the running back from Texas in Quintravion Wisner, who's rushed for 1,000 yards in the SEC. Was a little dinged up last season, so the numbers kind of fell off. You bring back the all world high school recruit in Usman Chroma, who we beat out for Georgia, didn't really get a full shot at showing what he could do. But you see the talent, resemblance of James Wilder, and Sam Singleton, who's the sleeper in the room. What do you think about this running back room compared to last year? Is that an upgrade?
Um, I'm trying to remember when we kind of did this in the group chat, but I'm gonna actually give it a plus, and I think it's one of those another position group we'll talk about later. I think that this group is a addition by subtraction kind of group, right? You know, you get rid of the Cam Davises, you know, because Isaiah Holmes is not there anymore. You got a Sawchuck is gone. It's cleared the room. We had like 6 running backs last year,
For no
all over
reason, bro.
the
For
field
no
for whatever
reason.
reason. We have 3 running backs. We kind of know what they all do. There's really nothing to test out, right? So if you bring in again, if you're bringing in transfers to Florida State, they're going to start. So we know what Wisner's going to do. He's going to be the starter. If your change of place back is Usman Chroma, we saw what he could do if they gave him the ball. And I feel like this running back room is only going to be as good as Mike Norvell allows them to be. Right. If
Right.
you let Trey be that guy, cool. If you're going to spell him with Usman Chroma, cool. And if you're going to try to throw him off with, get Sam Singleton in there somehow, some way, cool. But please don't do the, guy pops off for 20s on the bench, right? Or Usman, give the rock to him, 2 times. He breaks off 2 7-yard runs and he's out the game. Like, stop doing that, Mike. So they're only going to go as far as they take him. But it's cleared the room. We got 3 guys. We know what they do. So I'm going to give it an upgrade over last year.
I'm with you. Any of these guys that could start on a lot of the teams in the ACC. I think Sam. You guys know how I feel about Sam Singleton. It's just the opportunities. He rushed. There was a game he ran for over 100 yards because everybody was hurt and they gave him the ball a lot, and he showed what he could do. Next week, he's the backup. It's just, I don't understand the logic of how we utilize the running backs, especially in these past 2 years. Besides the Trey Benson years,
Yeah.
I think that it's you get 2 carries, you get 2, you get 1. You got to be able to ride the hot hand. There were times Keziah Holmes would hit a 15-yard run on back-to-back plays, and you don't see him the rest of the game. I think this running back room is a lot more talented, and I would like to see, what, like you said, what each running back could do. Quintravion, he could catch it out the backfield as well as run in between the tackles. Your power guy is Usman, and your home run hitter is Sam Singleton. Use them accordingly. If we're in the red zone, Ooze should be getting a bulk of that carry.
Every time.
Find your way to get Sam Singleton in space. If the game is on the line and you need that short-handed carrier, Quintravion Wisner is your guy. So you got to figure out how to divvy up the carries where it makes sense and you don't blow the rhythm of the game by switching in these 5 different running backs. Find your 3, which we know they're a good 3, and go with them. So I do think this backfield is an upgrade opposed to last year.
Does Mike Norvell have kids?
I think he has 1 kid.
It makes sense because he seems like one of those guys that will mess up the stroke. Right? You got the rhythm, Mike, and then you messed it up.
Just count your ABCs in your head. Just
come on, bro.
Like Cat Williams say.
Don't mess up the stroke, Mike.
Yeah, man. Keep it going.
Keep it going.
All right, let's keep this thing going. The tight end room. Let's jump to the tight end room. How do we feel about the tight end room this year? You got transfer from East Carolina and Desario Rouse. You got Landon Thomas, who was an all-world recruit out of high school, hasn't proven a thing. Pittman, he transferred out, who was our starting tight end last year. And then Chase Lofton has a bunch of potential. Yeah. What do you think about this room?
A bunch of potential. I mean, again, even Landon has a bunch of potential, but again, it's one of those situations where, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is the last couple of years, Florida State has like recruited 18 tight ends. which I don't get.
It's the
It's like
Mike Norvell offense. He features the tight
sure.
or he features the tight end. He finds a way to get the tight end
Yeah,
involved when the
but
offense works.
I don't need to spend all this time on tight end, Mike. It's not that kind of thing. But I'm gonna go downgrade on this. I think Randy Pittman, he was outside of Deuce, probably our one of our best players last year, most consistent. Know he had some drops. Everybody, kind of fumbled the bag at times. They kind of all just pass it around from game to game, like who's gonna F up this game. But for the most part, man, Randy Pittman made some great catches too. What was it in the Stanford game? I remember that the touchdown, or was it a touchdown or the 2-point conversion that he caught, which is a crazy catch for a tight end to
Yeah,
make. So to lose a guy
falling
like
away.
him, and
Yeah,
even the leadership that he brought to that team, like you could tell he was one of them guys that got everybody in line on offense, which again, who's the leader of these teams? We always ask that question. I think Randy Pittman was one of those guys. So to lose that, and you have a bunch of potential guys now, or people who haven't proven it here at Florida State, that's a tough one. So I'm gonna go downgrade from last year.
I'm with you on that. There's talent in the room. I like Chase, but he got hurt last year, and he mainly played wide receiver, so we don't know what he could do on this level. Uh, Landon Thomas, man, it's a show me year for you because he's proven that he can play on this level. He's had games where he's had 8 catches and a touchdown against Clemson. So it's not like he doesn't belong. I think I don't know if it's a work ethic thing, but he's gotta step it up, man. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go downgrade at the tight end position. Offensive line, man. It's one of those position groups where it's a revolving door. It's there's in this world of inconsistency in college football, this is the poster position for Florida State when it comes to inconsistency because there's always new faces coming in and out of this room. I think Andre Otto would potentially be the only starter that played on last year's team. There's a bunch of newcomers and a bunch of low level newcomers. It's not like there's a bunch of SEC guys that we went and got or Big Ten guys. There's one double A's. I think the tackle from Auburn, he may be the Xavier Chaplin. He may be the best potential player coming in from Auburn. What do you take from the acquisitions that we made? Is it an upgrade or a deep decline?
I'm not gonna go deep decline, but I am gonna say downgrade. I mean, we kind of hyped up the transfers that we got last year because again, we saw guys that came in with hardware, right? Whether it been some kind of ACC, awards or all ACC teams. Um, Even getting my guy from Ole Miss, blanking on his name,
Micah, is it Micah Pettis?
Micah Pettis, yeah,
Yeah.
right. Like again, you knew that man, the kid has talent. Just can we get him to do it? For a 12-game basis, and for the most part, yeah, man, he was solid. Right, Luke Pettibone, solid. Like we got guys who have played ball. Right, remember for years everybody was talking about how oh man they have the most combined starts of any offensive line. Yeah, but they weren't good. They weren't good. Right? I think maybe Gibbons was like the only guy from that O line that was like even halfway decent. So we got guys that had starts, but got guys who were actually good. I mean, for me, you know how I feel, man. You have to start bringing in guys, and I think that we all, you, me, and 12, we believe in Herb Hand, and I think that under him, whoever you bring in, if they got some talent, he'll get the most out of them. I'm excited to see Sandman Thompson. I think that's one of the guys they truly believe in, one of our guys. Um, at some point, I want to see the autos. I want to see the Sandmans actually develop into something that we can say, all right, cool. I know where I'm at with my center. I know where I'm at with my guard. If we need to bring in a transfer, cool. Because we have to stop. We got to get away from bringing in brand new O lines every single year. So just off of the strength of that, I'm gonna say downgrade from last year, just because again, there's a lot less proven talent on this roster on that O line than it was from last year.
No, I'm 100% with you there. But the thing that makes me feel good is, like you said, Herb Hand. He's in control of that room. And I was actually listening to War Chant earlier this week, and they were actually debating whether or not Herb Hand might be one of the best offensive line coach that Florida State has ever brought in.
Yeah.
So with that kind of mind and that kind of history of developing guys, I don't know the how good some of these guys are because they haven't done anything on this level that has been of significance. But I know who's molding this room, so it kind of puts me at ease because Herb, he's gonna put a comparable unit on the field. So I'm gonna hit the downgrade, but I'm not upset because I know who's leading that room.
True. True.
All right, let's finish it out, and we'll save defense for next week because we're already at the 30-minute mark. Let's
Yeah.
finish it
Yeah.
out with the wide receiver room. Uh, all world, future top draft pick, first round draft pick, Deuce Robinson leads this unit. You even went out and said he shouldn't have came back. He should have in this year's draft. He probably would have been a first round draft pick. If you look at those wide receivers, because you got the Jeremiah Smith coming out next year, but he came back, man, and he's a Florida State homegrown kid.
Yeah.
Wants to make things right. You got the track star in Makai Danzy, former running back, converted two wide receivers, showed flashes last year. We hope he develops. Javon Bars was the talk of spring last year.
Yeah.
He's got all the tools. If he could just stay healthy and we could find him the ball, there's something there. And then there's a bunch of younger guys in that room. How do you feel about this core move going into this year?
I'm actually gonna give this. I'm actually gonna give the room a plus. Surprisingly enough, yeah, I'm gonna give it a plus. Bringing back Deuce Robinson was the best thing that Florida State did all off season, right? I mean, because you know what you're gonna get out of Deuce. Last year he came in, he had played some, he played some ball at USC, not to the level that he played, for us last year. So it was still, kind of a prove it year even last year for Deuce. And if there was one thing like to me that it was like the equivalent of watching the Detroit Lions back in the day. Sorry, but Barry gonna show out. That's pretty much what Deuce was last year. That offense is weak, but Deuce gonna get his. So, if there's one thing, it's great to go into a season. We know that come hell or high water, if we need a play, we do have a playmaker, right? Which is something that we know that we've needed. We didn't have, in 24, there was no playmaker on that team. Well, you had one, you just didn't want to play him in Toa Feely, right? But still, nothing close to what Deuce was or what Deuce is. I hate losing Wheezy. I really wanted to keep Lawayne McCoy. I thought that he was,
That was
when
your
he was
guy.
able to get the ball, when he was able to get the ball, because I think even last year, the same way Rashad Green was Jameis's safety net, right? I feel like that was Tommy's safety net. Like just throw the ball up to Deuce, throw it up. And if you watch it, Wheezy runs some really good routes, right? He was shifty, he could make plays, you get the ball in space for him, and he can make a play. He wasn't just the deep speedy guy in Makai Danzig. We saw him make some strides too. Javon Boggs, we just got to see it, man. We got to see him healthy. I mean, that's not his fault. Injuries happen. So I'm gonna give it a plus because we bring all these guys back. You know what I mean? To keep Danzy, for Boggs to even come back, Deuce to come back, huge. So yeah, man. Well, I'm gonna give that a plus. It's a very positive episode today, man.
Yeah, man. Let's try to stay positive. Let's finish out positive. I'm with you, man. I give it a plus as well, simply because Deuce came back.
Yeah.
You bring back that was our first 1,000-yard receiver since was it Rashad Green?
It's crazy.
So on 50 catches. So you would assume his volume goes up this year. He runs a lot more routes across the middle, and you hope Makai develops and takes a lot of that pressure off of Deuce by taking off the top of defenses, because he is a record-breaking track star, and he could full-time be his track star and not miss a beat. So you hope that happens. I do like some of the freshmen that they brought in. Devin Carter Jr., who son of a former Florida State guy, 6'3" receiver that could run out of Georgia. They're already talking him up like how they did Javon Boggs last year. So we got to see it though. my sleeper in the room, and this could be a good transition into our closing topic of tangible guys versus future guys. Man,
Okay.
I'm gonna start with the freshman who was actually on the basketball team, and he'll be at spring practice this coming week. In Jason Lopez out of Chaminade, a slot receiver, former four-star guy. We beat a lot of top level colleges to get him to get his service, and he's a shifty guy that could run, that could catch. A little on the smaller end, but he's a basketball guy, so he's got the 40-inch vert, could get up there, make catches, and make plays after the catch. So I'm excited about him and Devin Carter.
Okay.
But let's transition. Go ahead.
No. I'm with you. If you want to transition over to futures, I think I got a couple futures in that wide receiving room too.
Yeah, let's keep it offensively. Give me what you got for future potential playmaking players on this team that can make a difference this year.
So in the wide receiver room, I would love to see him. He kind of had a little buzz around him too coming in last year, I think. Tayshawn Gelsey. I mean, that's a big body, man. Pause. And if you actually look at some of the guys that, especially the freshmen that they've been bringing in, I think nobody's under. I think outside of maybe Carter, nobody's under 6'2". Right? They've gotten some big wide receivers, man. Gelsey 6'4". What's my other kid? Williams. I think he's 6'3". EJ White 6'2". There's another kid. He's like 6'5". Tariq Mallory.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I mean, like, you got some big receivers in there, man. Now, again, hopefully they can touch the field. That would be great. But if any of them pan out to be something, that'd be nuts to see a wide receiving core where you got a 6'5", 6'3", 6'4" guy, and and all of them kind of got moves. Like, you got a 6'5", 230-pound dude out there, man. If he
Yeah.
turns into anything, future looks good at wide receiver if they develop.
No, I'm with you, and they're going to be led by a guy that goes about his business in a workman like effort on a day to day basis. So I'm with you on all those future guys. I'm going to swing it over to the tangible guys for me offensively,
Okay.
and you got to start it out with the guy that did it, the preseason All American in Deuce Robinson. We know what we're going to get from that guy. So I'll start with him. There's not a lot offensively. Once we get into our defensive segment, I think there's going to be more. But I'm gonna throw Quintravion Wisner out there as well. I know in our group text earlier you said he hasn't done it in this offense with Mike calling plays yet, but we've seen him rush for 1,000 yards in the past. We've seen what he could do in an SEC offense in against that level of competition. So I think that's a tangible talent that you can kind of bank on going into the season. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Makai Danzy.
Okay.
I think he makes the difficult catches look easy, and then he drops the easy ones. So if you could just take those steps and work on your craft a little bit more, I think Tim Harris has done a great job with the wide receivers. I think Makai could take another step in developing his game, and if he does that, man, I think he had over 400 receiving yards, a couple big touchdowns. If you build on that, I think he could be one of the scary wide receivers in the conference.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a bank on him being a tangible contributor
Okay.
offensively.
I think that the man, I think that the wide receiving position is to me is the
No
only.
negativity, Daniel Riviere. Read the title. Let's try to stay positive.
I mean, he
Get
ain't
out of
lying.
here.
He ain't lying. I mean, Willie got something to say about that, but Willie wasn't here long enough for the title.
Right.
For me personally, I think that the wide receiving room is the only position group on the offensive side of the ball with more tangibles than futures. Because again, for me, the running back room is chock full of talent. We've seen in spurts what Sam Singleton can do. We've seen in spurts what Usman Chroma can do. And we've seen at Texas in that offense, in that system, with that team, what Trey Weiser can do. It's just for me that the only thing holding that running back core back is Mike Norvell. So that's the only
Mm.
reason why I put the running back room into futures category is because outside of Trey Benson, Mike has done everything possible to not let the running back shine. I mean, everything possible to not let anybody shine. And to be fair, if you looked at even what Trey Benson did, we always said that 2023, it was trade for 2, trade for 3, loss of 3, trade for 65 and a touchdown. That was pretty much what Trey did, right? It wasn't just this ground and pound, thing. He just had to break off his because Mike was probably going to sub him out if he didn't score. So, what I mean, that's the only reason. And again, uh, at quarterback, I would like to say Sperry is in my futures category. I gotta see him. I gotta see him play, man.
I don't think he gets a lot of reps this season. Although I want there to be a competition, I'm still banking on it. But
Yeah, no, forget the competition. that's done.
and
I'm
like you said,
hoping.
Mike is coaching for his
Yeah, he's
life,
coaching for
so
his life.
I don't
So
think you see
yeah,
much of Sperry.
yeah. So I mean, I would love to put the running back room in our tangibles category, but just off the strength of what Mike has done, that's gotta be tossed in the futures, man.
All right. I mean, I think we did it, man. I think that's it for this episode. I think we'll get a lot more tangibles out of the defense. I really like the defensive unit. Um,
There's some potential there.
there's a lot there to work with. I'm gonna throw my last future out there, and if you got any more, just let me know. But I think Usman Kromah, I think he's gonna have a breakout season. We saw spurts of it. He doesn't get tackled by the first guy.
Never.
It's a fight trying to tackle him. There were some times where he'll have the drops or the fumbles coming out the backfield, but the talent is there, man. So I think he's gonna put together a good season. And
Okay.
that's it for the offense for me. The rest of it, you got to prove it to me.
Got to. Got to. I mean, again, I'm not expecting, not being negative. I'm not expecting great things from this offense. I think at this point with Florida State football, we would like to see some level of consistency that we haven't seen honestly since 2022. I mean, because we can all be honest, we enjoyed the ride of 2023. That was one hell of a season, man. We had so much fun that season. Love to see, Jordan, love to see Johnny, Keon, all them boys. But we can be completely honest that that team was built and we won 13 games off of the strength of that defense and Jordan Travis, right? Jordan Travis and that defense pretty much won us 13 games because that was one of the most inconsistent 13-0, offenses you will ever see.
Yeah, agreed.
You know what I mean? So outside of 2022, we haven't seen a consistent Mike Norvell Florida State offense. Hopefully we get it. It just, it's not looking great.
Optimism.
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 It ain't looking
Hey,
great.
whose man's is this in the comment? He's just letting the negativity fly.
FSU, bro, because all they did was cry and sue it. Wait, is he an FSU fan?
I don't know. I think he's a bot. I'm going with that.
I'm curious now. I want to know whose man's this. I feel like it's a rogue agent that Breeze sent over. He's
Yeah,
probably a Miami fan on the low.
release the bots.
But yeah,
All right,
man. So overall, how did we grade?
He said I'm a dog. Get out of here, scram.
Really beat it. Yeah.
You cheated in the
overall,
Auburn game.
how did you
Cheated.
grade the offense? Did you give our offense a plus, minus, or we even from last year? That'll be the last thing for me.
I think we're even. Okay. I think the offense didn't downgrade from last year. If Tommy could have made some throws, there would have been a couple more wins on the table. I'll say that. So it's just wait and see. I don't think it's a downgrade, but if Ashton can't make any throws, it's going to be the same thing last year.
Mm-hmm. It ain't one of his. It's one of Sweet Milk's guys.
Sweet Milk, show yourself. It might be him.
I don't know.
Hey, they love pulling that 65-3 out the bag like they didn't play the JV team. 10 guys went to the league and opted out. Get out of here.
You ever listen to that Trinidad James mixtape? It was like this last song. Like he's still here, and it's like, I don't know what to tell you. You still watch. fuck, nigga.
Yeah, we got the view out you.
We got the view out, you big dog. Like and subscribe, by the way, while you still here.
Please,
Come
please
back
do
next.
bring the negativity with you next week because we'll be here again. We got this thing back and rolling. Breeze bullied us into it. Sometimes a good bullying works.
I
You
guess
know,
so, man.
positive bullying always works.
That's what I keep trying. Actually, you know what? That's what I keep trying to tell my wife with the kids nowadays, right? Like you see kids walking around in school with, it's 95 degrees outside. They got the black hoodies on. You know they stink. It's because they go to school. Nobody's telling them they stink. They don't get ridiculed or bullied anymore. You need to bring back positive bullying.
Yeah, make it a thing. Make it
Make
great
bullying
again.
great again.
Yeah. Hey man, I love you, my guy. It's always a
Love you, my
pleasure.
G. Yeah, man.
We gonna keep feeding these people positive energy, or at least I will. We don't,
I can't.
I got to catch you on the right week, and I think this was the right week.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little itchy right now. I ain't gonna hold you. I gotta do something. I gotta go trip my kids or something. Do something negative real quick.
Or just let them fly in the group chat. I know 12 will.
Oh, come on, just just drop a picture of Mike Norvell in the group chat.
It's a wrap.
Hey man.
All right, man. I'm the one and only Unc Bayless. I'm the hope dealer, and the man to my left is Pumpy Johnson himself, Positive Pump,
Pushing P.
with another week of the Somebody Said No's podcast.